Hello Crystal Sews and Stuff here on YouTube as well as on Instagram. Welcome to the channel, all my new subscribers, and welcome back to the channel to all of my current subscribers. So today I wanted to share with you my latest make, which is the Closet Case Patterns Ginger Jeans. And so these are the skinny jeans pattern. So I did the mid-rise jeans. They also have their original pattern comes in low rise as well as high rise, but I purchased the Sew Your Dream Jeans class from Closet Case Patterns about 2-3 years ago, and when they were having a sale, and that one comes with the mid-rise version. So I decided to do the mid-rise version because I'm shorter and I figured the high-rise would come up too high, and that was totally correct. Mine comes up high-rise, I meant to say, on me, even though these are the mid-rise jeans because I'm short, I'm 5'1". So anyway, that's the version that I decided to do, and it comes with the class. So the class was about I got it for $42. I believe the original price for it is $59, but it does come with the jeans pattern for the mid-rise jeans. And if you wanted to get the skinny jeans pattern, it's just you get it for half off, and the original price for the pattern is like $18, so you would get it for $9. So you can either get the Morgan jeans or the ginger original skinny jeans pattern if you didn't want the mid-rise pattern that comes with it. So anyway, I decided to do the mid-rise, and I did have to make the fabric that let me start about the fabric. So the fabric that I used was a denim that I picked up from Hearts Fabric about 2 years or so ago. I won a gift voucher to Hearts Fabric a few years ago from that Sewing Blab show. It's a podcast, I think bi-weekly podcast here in the sewing community. And so anyway, I won a gift card for that, so I used part of the money to buy this denim. And so that's where I got the fabric from. Again, it's from Hearts Fabric, and I'll leave a link to that in the description box below. And so I used that white stretch denim. I don't remember the percentage of it, and I don't think they have it in white, but they do have other denim fabrics as well. So I'll leave a link to the denim that I use in the description box. And so this is a pattern that's meant for stretch denim. And so the pattern says you have to have a fabric with at least 2% stretch, and mine definitely did have at least 2% stretch, and it has to be over an 8-ounce denim. I'm not sure the weight of this denim, but I think it was a little bit heavier than 8 ounce because when I made the Jolly jeans, I'll leave a link to that before, they're like a jegging jean. I used like an 8-ounce denim from Joann's, and this is a bit heavier than that. So I'm guessing this is around 10-ounce denim that I have, and it's around 2% stretch in it. So now let me show you a quick clip of all the changes that I made to the pattern. Okay, so here are the changes that I made to the ginger jeans pattern. I'm just walk you through pretty quickly. So the first thing that I did to the front and the back was I adjusted the crotch length by 1 inch on both the front and the back. I just marked a line and measured it 1 inch up, and then I folded it down and taped it. So that was the first thing I did, but that didn't work out for me. I still needed the length in my final version, so I untaped it and put it back. And then the next thing that I did was I took out 1 inch out of the crotch depth. So basically the original pattern, this is the original pattern, and I sewed a size 12, and this is the crotch depth right here. And so you can compare it kind of what it was here. So what I did, so the crotch depth here is quite a bit higher. So what I did was I took out about 1 inch from the crotch depth right here. So what I did is I used my curve ruler. I measured 1 inch in, and I cut out this section right here. And then I just made sure it smoothed out the line so it kind of meet the same curve that it had before. So those are the changes that I made to the back crotch depth. And then I added some to the crotch height because I did like 2 muslins, and well, yeah, I did 2 muslins, and the first one I noticed that I just did not have enough height to get it up and around over my bottom. So I added a total of 4 inches to the height, and I split it up. I did 3 inches here and then 1 inch here. And I used one of my Sandra Betsina books, which showed you how to do that. And so that's what I did. But I think for next time, I'll just bring this part down just like another inch here. Because it's a tiny, tiny bit high if I just want to be nitpicky. But I do want to go ahead and take 1 inch out for the next version that I make of Ginger Jeans. And so those are all. And then because I took 1 inch out of the depth here, I added that inch back in on the side seam. So that's what I did there. And then I also took out 3 inches at the shorten and lengthen line right here because I'm shorter. So that's the other change. And then I just smoothed out the sides. So those are the changes that I made to the back. And the front, I didn't make too many changes. All I did was, you can see this is the original crotch curve right here. What I did is I added a 1/2 inch here because the center seam was hit me too forward and the front crotch. So I just added a 1/2 inch here, and then I just graded it. I smoothed it out to nothing right here. So that's the change that I made to the front. And then I also took out 3 inches here on the front. So those are all the changes that I made to the Ginger Jeans. And I just want to show you what I've been working on for the last week or so. So I've been working on the Ginger Jeans, the Midrise version, and so I ended up making 2 muslins so far. So this is the first one, and what I did was I raised the crotch level by 1 inch, and I scooped out the crotch curve in the back to give me more room in the back, but it came out way too low, so it's super low in the back right here. So, and this is after I modified it and added more to it. So first I accidentally added it to the side seams, and that didn't work, so I had to sew this back up, the front and the back up. And then I added 2 inches to the back right here, and that wasn't enough, so I went back and added 4. So this is the 4, but everything was still way too low, so I decided to make a second muslin. So okay, so this is my second muslin. I just had to use a plain regular cotton for this one because I ran out of the canvasy weight muslin. So anyway, I just have this just plain regular cotton. And so what I did was I raised the crotch seam back up to its original position, and I had added a little crotch length to the back crotch, and I think that was a little too much, so I took that out, and I kept the 4 inches in the back. So I think it fits really good now. I didn't do the zipper all the way for this muslin. I just basted the zipper in, but I kind of like where it's landing right here. So I think I'm pretty much good to cut it out. The only thing is this front seam is a little too close, so I think I'm gonna add a little bit to the front crotch so that this inner seam can end up more in the middle. So those are all the changes that I made. The only additional changes that I made was originally on the back, I forgot to put it in my little clip, was originally on the back seam I had added a 1/2 inch to this crotch curve, but when I did my my muslin, I noticed that the crotch curve again was protruding too far up towards the front, and so I cut that off and then added a 1/2 inch to the front crotch curve. So that's the only other change that I forgot to put in my little clip. So those are the changes that I made. And some of the books that I used to help me with the fitting were this Fast Fit by Sandra Betsina. And in this book, she shares how to do a full seat adjustment for the protruding derriere. So that's what I did. I added some I added 4 inches to my to the height of the back pattern piece. You angle it going out to the center back seam. So I did that, and I had originally added a little bit right here to the crotch curve, but I ended up taking that back out. And then another book that I used was this Pants for Real People, and that is by Patty Palmer and Marta Alto. They have a lot of good range of different pants for real people, fit for real people, knits for real people, different kind of jackets for real people to help with fitting. So this is a good series of fitting books. And anyway, they have this whole body map right here on page 35, which goes over all the different changes that you might want to make for fitting pants. So like they show you how to extend the back crotch curve or the front crotch curve, how to lengthen and shorten the crotch depth, how to add on the sides, how to also add to, if you have a protruding tummy, you can add going this way. So they give you a lot of in-depth information about how to make pattern alterations. And a couple of other resources, one of the other resources I use, Andrea from Soda Fit, I follow her through her Patreon page, and I'll leave a link to her channel below. Well, she did a jean sew along, and I only caught a couple of the demonstrations, and I think she did that in March. And I caught a couple of the demonstrations. I hadn't even started on my pattern back then, but I saw how she did her crotch curve for her jeans, and so I just had it in my mind exactly, how she did it when I was scooping out my crotch seam. So those are the changes that I made. Some of the resources that I use so my zipper I picked up from zipship.com, and I will leave a link to that below. And then for my button, my jeans button, I got that from Pacific Trimming. Because I had picked up that a while ago. I did buy some buttons from Zip Ship. They also have jeans buttons as well. But I remembered that I had already bought some jeans buttons, so I decided to use that. And so fortunately I had several jeans buttons because I had a little faux pas putting in the jeans button. So with the jeans button, you have the button part right here, the main button part, and then you have a nail. Can you see it? It's kind of bogus. So you have the front jean part button, and then you have the nail, and you cut a little hole in your fabric with your awl, and then you have to hammer the button between, and your fabric goes right here. So what I did was first I cut the hole too small, and so the whole jeans button fell out. So then I went in and I made the hole bigger, and then I banged it. So I made the buttonhole bigger, and so I put it on, and I thought it was on well, but then I made it too big. And so this is my original button I was gonna use right here, but I made the hole too big and the whole jeans button came out. Oh my gosh. So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm at the end. I'm literally at one of the last steps. And I messed up the jeans buttons. I was like, what am I going to do? But I kind of remembered something I saw on Facebook, and I have no idea. I don't know where the link is. But a lady was just going through a whole bunch of mending things that you can do. And I remember one of the things that she did was put a piece of fabric on the back of a hole to make her button stay. And so that's what I did. And I'll show a picture of what I did. I just basically made a circle of fabric and I zigzagged around the circle, and then I put it on the back of the hole that was too big, and then I put the new button on with the fabric in between with that little piece of fabric. So that's how I ended up getting the button on. I was like, oh my goodness, what did I do? So anyway, that's what I did to get this the jeans buttons on. Other things that were helpful when I was sewing. So I did use 2 sewing machines at the same time. I used my main sewing machine, which is this big Bernina 880, but I also used my smaller Bernina that I picked up last year on Facebook Marketplace for like $60, something like that. So this is a really older machine from the 70s. This is a Bernina 730, and I did my top stitching mostly on this machine till I got to the end. Then I switched it over to this one because I have a good edge stitch foot for this one. But for the bulk of it, I did my top stitching on this Bernina, and then the main sewing on my regular machine. This dual duty Coats and Clark dual duty for all of my top stitching. That's what I use for my top stitching thread. And then I did use some embroidery thread to make a design on the back pockets, because I wanted to keep it all white. I wanted to keep the jeans all white. That way they'll match a lot of different outfits and everything. So I didn't want to do a contrast top stitching. So I used some embroidery thread for the back pockets. And I'll show a quick pic of it zoomed in so that you can see. Okay, so those are all the things I wanted to mention for sewing up the ginger jeans. And here are some pics of me wearing the jeans out in the backyard, because it was a bee on the deck, so we decided to go ahead in the backyard on the kids' playground. So took some pictures out there. I had a lot of fun with my daughter, taking some pictures on the swing set and everything. So I'm gonna show you some pics and some twirls right here. And twirls of the ginger jeans, and I would definitely sew this again. I do recommend the pattern. I do recommend the class. The class was really good. She does talk a little fast, so you might have to rewind a couple times. I did find myself having to rewind some of it because she speaks a little quickly in the video. So but it's a very detailed sew along, and she does offer some fitting issues, some very basic fitting guidelines, and I know they have an additional fitting guideline, kind of not like a workbook that you can look through as well. But I found like my books were a little bit more clear for me, but going over the different construction steps were really good. She really explained that well. So I do recommend the class, especially if you're new to jeans making. I think it was worth it. So I forgot to say, I did not top stitch the center part of the jeans, because I wanted to be able to take it in a lot easier. Because I know when I unpicked my Jolly jeans, which are more like jeggings, it was harder for me to. It took a long time to unpick all of that in case I wanted to bring it in. So I just went on, and my ready-to-wear jeans don't have top stitching along the center. So I decided to go ahead and leave that out. But I did do all the top stitching on the pockets, the waistband, and everything. So I did all the rest of the top stitching recommended in the pattern. So anyway, that is my review of the Closet Case ginger jeans. I definitely would sew this again. But I'm also thinking about sewing up the Chloe jeans by Style Sew Me Patterns. And right now it's on sale for $5. And I'll leave a link to that below, because those jeans are specifically made for someone who has a full bottom already. So I'm wondering if the fit will be a little bit better. So, but those are cropped, so I would have to lengthen it to make it, you know, traditional length jeans. So anyway, I hope you all are doing well, and I look forward to talking to you next time. Bye.